Let's look at the trends marketers need to know in 2025. I've made 10 predictions, but first, we're going to review my 2024 predictions. The point about making them is not necessarily to be right, but to understand reality so well that you can make an educated guess about where it might go and then learn something in the process. And I also really enjoy the discussions that I have when I share my predictions, so please don't hold back and share your opinions in the comments. 2024 was kind of a breakthrough year. AI overviews bring us from search results to AI answers. Starlink brings us from broadband to satellite internet. SpaceX brings us from Earth to space. O1 and Gemini 2.0 Flash bring us from LLMs to reasoning. Waymo brings us from ride-hailing to self-driving. Meta Ray-Bans bring us from smartwatches to smart glasses. And YouTube brings us from text to video. With that being said, let's score my 2024 predictions. I made 8 of them, and I got half of them right. Number 1 was that I expected a wave of AI improvements, and it's kind of correct. You see lots of companies like TripAdvisor, eBay, Booking, Amazon, Nextdoor, etc. They all build new features with the help of AI. But this year, we've also seen the first case of a company getting more specific returns from using AI, and that's TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor has improved their review pages with AI summaries, and that has led to an increase in organic traffic that's pretty clearly visible. The bigger picture here is that AI trickles through every aspect of product. And the key here, the key to monetization, is not just to make it look cool, but to actually make it useful. And in 2024, we've seen the first prototypes like natural language search or the already mentioned AI reviews. My second prediction was about publishers making licensing deals. I thought at least 5 of them would happen, and I found 11. And that happens as the traditional media landscape is atrophying. News has become a commodity unless you break it first. And that's leading to a dogfight between publishers in the digital world. But trust in media is also eroding, and readership has been dropping, especially among younger generations. And lastly, Google has slashed affiliate revenue streams with its site reputation abuse penalties, taking away the last lucrative income streams for many publishers. So licensing is a lifeline, but it's also not turning traditional publishing into a flaming hot industry again. My third prediction was that SEO tools add more AI features, and it was very much on the money here. In 2024, we've seen major tool vendors like SEMrush or Ahrefs add AI features to the platform. Just to call out a couple, SEMrush has added demand forecast, a personal keyword difficulty, and the keyword strategy builder, all built with AI. Ahrefs has built the AI keyword suggestions feature, AI search intent, and AI content helper. So lots of activity in that space and lots more to come. My fourth prediction was that we'll see a higher focus on organic growth in 2024. And when I'm saying organic growth, channels like SEO, content marketing, social, podcasting, and email. And indeed, marketing budgets have accelerated their decline after the pandemic from 11% in 2020 to 7.7% in 2024. When you look at the share of marketing budget from total revenue. And that is leaving less and less room for advertising, which in return means that companies have to put a higher emphasis on organic growth if they want to keep up their current growth rates. In November 2024, the CMO survey found that advertising sees the lowest spend growth, while brand building and product marketing gains the most. My fifth prediction was that Google or Microsoft would build a powerful AI agent based on your emails. Actually, in September 2023, Google's Bard got access to Gmail. And I tried it out, and it was terrible. It hallucinated left and right. The crazy thing is that Google sits on a treasure trove of data because they own Android, YouTube, Gmail, Maps, and it's one of the most used one-tap authentication solutions next to Apple. And the same for Microsoft, which is owning Outlook, GitHub, LinkedIn, Edge, Skype, and a lot more companies. And none of the two, or any company for that matter, was able to crack the nut of successfully integrating user data with powerful AI agents. I will say, though, I have a lot of hope for 2025. My sixth prediction was that Google will continue to prioritize human content, but also launch an update to the forums content that it already shows in the search results. That has clearly not happened. My expectation or assumption was that Google would use, for example, the Reddit API that it has access to prioritize threads based on age, upvotes, or karma to make the threads that it shows relevant to the search query. And again, that hasn't really happened. We're still seeing questionable forum content in the search results, and I hope that Google rolls out an update soon. I also predicted, and I was very wrong here, that Google wouldn't launch SGE unless someone else put enough pressure on them. So to take a step back, SGE stands for Search Generative Experience, and it's Google's beta environment for new features in the search results. AI overviews, which have launched in May of 2024, were the main feature of SGE, and they have launched. So I was kind of wrong. Now, you could maybe argue that I was right because it did launch and there was a lot of pressure on Google, but I didn't find enough evidence. That's exactly why they launched. So I'll take an L on this one. I'll take the loss because there is no clear evidence, but you could probably argue back and forth. And my last and eighth prediction was that more creators will make a sustainable living from creating content. And I was also wrong. I assumed that creators would make more money in 2024 as the field matures and more platforms like YouTube share revenue. And actually, the opposite happened. There are 27 million creators in the US, and 44 of them say that creating is their full-time job. But only the top 1% make over 50% of revenue. If you look at YouTube, 3% get 85% of the views. And the top 1% of podcasts get 99% of downloads. So the inequality within the creator economy is staggering, and there's no improvement in sight. Now let's take a look at what's in store for 2025. These are 10 trends that every marketer needs to know to stay on top of the game. And every year, I try to stretch my predictions to scratch the limits of what's possible and underline my convictions. The thing is, everyone can state the obvious, but predicting something that's unobvious and being right is hard. So here's my try. Prediction number 1 is that agentic LLM models will reach over 100 million users. It's no secret that inference models, which are better at reasoning, are the next frontier in AI as the AI training data pool is trained. Better reasoning opens the door to AI agents and LLM scripts that perform actions for us like buying a product or downloading a white paper. And so far, agents like Shop Like a Pro from Perplexity or Google Mariner are still very nascent and require a lot of oversight. But in 2025, I expect a breakthrough to drive adoption through the roof of the 100 million user ceiling. The thing is that agents are easier to monetize because they save users time in a much more tangible way than getting an answer. And the AI frontrunners also seem to be ready for prototypes, as we've seen at the hands of the agents that have already launched. And my third reason for why I think that's true is that the monetary incentive is there. Charging for time savings or cheaper products is a pay-worthy value. So the implications for marketers are that they actually have less control over early stages of the buyer journey as consumers and B2B buyers explore LLM chatbots and agents. So it means that clicks and search volumes for high search volume keywords are going to go down. My second prediction is that we're going to see more AI victims. In 2024, we've already seen victims like Chegg or Stack Overflow. And in 2025, I expect a lot more victims as AI destroys the margins of whole industries and leaves slow-moving companies behind. Some industries that I think are in a tough spot are translation, dictionaries, tutoring, and outsourced call centers. AI might also give birth to new industries that we cannot even imagine yet, and might even revive some old forgotten players like Oracle. Why do I think that? First of all, we've already seen victims in 2024. Second, new technologies always create winners and losers. And the more powerful the technology, the bigger the shuffle. So for marketers, the implications are that we'll first see a lot more pivots as companies are on the hot seat and they need to find other growth markets. And second, we might also see more layoffs, consolidation, and acquisition of companies with eroding margins. My third prediction is that AI automation becomes the default for marketing teams. As a regular growth memo reader, you probably know that I'm pretty bullish on system building, which is also called GTM automation in the B2B world. The concept is simple. You have AI and no code, and together they allow marketers to chain and automate workflows instead of manually performing them. So why do I think this is going to be big? First of all, already today we can automate large parts of lead funnels, post-purchase onboarding, and parts of SEO advertising. And second, in 2025, system building will become a necessity as marketing teams either stay small or become smaller due to budget constraints and economic uncertainty. The implications for marketers are that smaller teams, freelancers, and consultants become even more powerful with AI automation. The impact of a single marketer grows significantly if they're skilled, but mediocre marketers might have to find other areas of work. I also think that marketers will start agencies that will set up automation systems for other companies and make millions in the process. Prediction number 4 is that AI overviews evolve. I think that AI overviews will morph as the company iterates on the format. I don't think the current format is what it will be long term. Some changes that I could see are personalization based on your search history and favorite websites, but also video answers or even a notebook LM integration. And I also think that AI overviews will start showing for over 50% of queries, so for the majority of search keywords. Why do I think that? First of all, new models, especially multimodal ones that can understand and answer more than just text, open the door to better user experiences, which could strengthen Google's moat. Second, I also think that Google has to find ways to defend itself from other LLMs like ChatGPT or Perplexity, which are not under the same pressure to maintain margins and revenue growth rates. So the implications for you are that SEOs need to continue tracking, experimenting with, and adapting to changes in Google's search landscape as the pressure on Google extends to SEOs. And I also think that this is not a time of stability, as we've had more or less over the last 2 decades, but it's actually a time of agility, flexibility, and adaptation. And that mindset is really important. Prediction number 5 is that Reddit becomes a default part of the channel mix. I think that marketers will leverage Reddit for much more advertising and audience insights in 2025 than they already have. And as a result, Reddit's advertising revenue will maintain its growth rate and its stock price will keep climbing. Keep in mind that this is not investing advice. Why do I think that? Number one, the largest forum on the web is now one of the largest sites, as Google features it prominently for almost every query. Number two, since the threads are organized by topics instead of interests, Reddit can show ads based on what users discuss instead of their behavior. 3, the company keeps expanding and improving its advertising stack, which offers more and better targeting. And 4th, Reddit uses AI to translate its US content into other languages to enter growth markets. And together with Google's ranking boost for forums, Reddit's growth will continue. So the implications for you are that Reddit grows as an intent-based alternative to Google, which means marketers will advertise on both platforms, but so far, only Google provided this type of performance ads. I also think that Reddit will provide more valuable insights for marketers to help them understand their target audience and create better content. Prediction number 6 is that more sites cloak for LLMs. In 2025, I expect a few prominent companies to create bot-only versions of their sites that are optimized for LLM crawlers. Why? Because LLMs are hungry for fast sites with lots of structured content, but they don't penalize cloaking. So the implications are that the web could become a better home for good bots as more users instruct LLMs to retrieve information or make purchases. Human activity could shrink and be replaced by bot activity. So the question is whether this will be a net negative or a positive for the open web. My 7th prediction is that the current Google Shopping tab will become the default experience for shopping-related queries. And I think that because Google often treats tabs in the search results as a beta environment for new experiences. Actually, in 2020, Google already made the Shopping tab the default experience. And second, Google wants to break Amazon's e-commerce dominance to unlock more revenue growth, especially as AI disrupts the classic search results. The implications are that personalized results are harder to track. If the current Shopping tab becomes the default, then average search results might become even harder to track than they already are due to product grids. As a result, marketers need to optimize based on the little data that Google still provides, or lean into other ways to understand whether what they optimize goes in the right direction or not. Prediction number 8 is that AI generated video and audio hits mass adoption. I think that we'll see a lot more YouTube channels and podcasts use AI generated B-roll and ads. And the reason I think that is that the technology is simply getting there. One, you have 11 Labs, which just launched a new voice generator like NotebookLM. Google just launched Veo 2, a very capable video AI model. And then OpenAI has Sora, which I think will soon come off the waiting list. If the success of NotebookLM's podcasting feature has shown us anything, it's that multimodal AI output is getting ready for showtime. And the implications are simple. Number one, production costs of video and audio formats will sink dramatically. But number two, I expect that deception and click rates could reach new heights as the technology enables that. Prediction number 9 is that Google and Apple divorce. So Google has exclusive distribution agreements with suppliers like Apple, Samsung, and others. And they also face several lawsuits for monopoly positions right now. In one of them, the DOJ asks for a lot of remedies, like Google selling click and query data, but I actually think that the most realistic outcome is a settlement that breaks up Google's exclusive distribution agreements. The reason I think that is that Google has itself published an announcement in which they suggest to loosen their agreements with suppliers, and probably in an attempt to mitigate possible remedies. And the other reason is that the exclusive distribution agreements is what the lawsuit originally focuses on. The judge has made it very clear in his memo that he's not a fan of those agreements. The implications are that probably nothing changes really in search. Google has won that game, so I don't expect any remedy to change much of that. But I think that any remedy might impact Google's position in the AI game. So losing exclusive distribution agreements could mean that Google has to fight for its position in the AI battle instead of winning by default. And my last and 10th prediction is that either Apple or OpenAI announce smart glasses. The thing is that Meta has been incredibly successful with their Meta Ray-Bans product. I actually lean towards OpenAI publishing smart glasses since Apple already has a secondary device with its watches, and OpenAI has officially started with Johnny Ive, the designer of the iPhone. The reason I think that is that Meta seems to be running away with the smart glasses market. In fact, they seem to make up over 60% of purchases in Ray-Ban stores, as announced by EssilorLuxottica CFO Stefano Grassi. And the second reason is simply that the smart glasses market is on track to hit $4 billion of market volume by 2030, offering a $1 billion opportunity for the winner. So the implications for you as a marketer is that consumer behavior could change. For example, consumers could run more live streams or create in new formats. However, the adoption is still pretty far out. This is still a small market, and the implications are so unclear that it's hard to predict where things are going. Let me know in the comments where you agree or disagree, either on YouTube and Substack. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in a year with a review of my 2025 predictions and new predictions for 2026.